What is up, guys? My name's Emilio. I'm here with Jay. He's one of the co-owners of FFN, the number one futures prop firm. And today we're having a prop firm owner expose the secrets behind how to become a profitable trader, what to avoid, and how to make the best out of this opportunity in which you can leverage your skill for capital. So, Jay, can you tell us just a bit about you and FFN?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been trading over 10 years. My partner in FFN has also been trading well over a decade. So we've got plenty of experience. FFN as a company has been around 2.5, 3 years. We've seen really rapid growth, which is great. Shows us that traders like what we're doing and like what we're about. But all in all, we're a company that's built by traders. My partner and myself both still actively trade day in and day out. So we're here for taking care of the traders and showing them what it takes and setting them up for success. And
Nice, man.
and yeah, benefiting both of us, the trader and the prop firm together.
Great, dude. I mean, I love to see that, especially because nowadays there's so many prop firm CEOs who A, either they don't trade, or B, they're traders, then they make the prop firm and they stop trading. They give away the trading and then they turn the prop firm into something which is not really viable for traders with rules like active equity drawdown and all these like tiny percentage rules. When clearly, guys, if you see the rules of your firm, you can see that you guys actually understand what consistent trading is. And now I want to ask you, what do you think are the top three things that makes a trader a good trader? I mean, you guys have seen all sorts of trader. What do you say are the top three traits that these traders have?
Yeah, definitely. Routine, I would say, is one. Having a static routine that you can stick to and a repeatable strategy, which would lead to the second one. That's going to be having a repeatable strategy, having a profitable strategy that you have some data on. Because if you just make emotional decisions on where you think the market's going to go, because that's what it looks like is happening, that's not going to last long term. That's not really a feasible way to find longevity, really. So having a profitable strategy that you have data on, that you've back tested, that you know works a certain percentage of the time, and then kind of crafting your risk management and your trading around that proven strategy. Third thing I would say is sticking to a static set of rules as well. And sometimes it's difficult to do that. We all know that as traders, but having those rules set out ahead of time and sometimes written down is a good way to stick to them. Whatever that way that you need to stick to those rules is, you need to have that and really stick to it like your life depends on it. Because when you deviate from those rules, that's when you start to make small mistakes that kind of roll into bigger mistakes that eventually just turn into kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's like
Shit.
the snowball effect.
Right, right. It turns into a snowball effect, and the decision making process and the errors just get worse and worse, and you find yourself with a blown up account.
Yeah, great. It's definitely a lot of people who even they have the plan, but sometimes they don't follow it. And what I say, like all it takes is one bad day to wipe out your entire progress. I mean, me personally, I've been trading on prop firms for almost 2 years now, and I remember when I was first coming up, I would get to like 80% of the prop firm target. Then one day I would get desperate, I would go on tilt or whatnot, and then boom, 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of progress are gone. And I just think that's the importance of actually understanding risk management, because most people say risk management, it's risk 1% every trade, or risk management is risk the same thing every trade. And I couldn't disagree more with that, because I believe risk management is also understanding your risk tolerance. Maybe some people cannot take risking 1%. For example, somebody on a 250K account, if they risk 1%, but they go $1,600 into drawdown, maybe they don't take it and they close out and they start making bad decisions. Contrary to understanding your true risk tolerance, I think that's also very important, and adapting that to your plan, because again, following the plan, following the rule, that's what you need to do. But the problem is also many people complicate it and then they make their plan difficult for them to follow, which I think it's a very big factor in terms of failing traders. It's they make a plan based on what they hear, not on who they are and what they do. Personally, I've had 4 trading mentors, and the 4 of them gave me different plans, very different aspects, very different things in which I could work on. Yet I don't follow their plan to the T, because you need to understand who you are as a trader, how you trade best, I know, for example, you can teach somebody how to trade. I mean, you clearly trade, you can probably teach somebody how to do it, but the way in which they will trade, even if they were taught straight by you, will be different if they want to trade profitably just because of their habits and tendencies. And now I wanted to ask you on the topic of risk management, what do you feel the best traders do in terms of risk management compared to those traders that are not? I'm talking to the funded side, right? On those traders who pass a funded account but never get a payout, compared to those who actually get multiple consistent payouts. How do you feel? Like, does risk management play a big factor in there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say the main piece to that is size. Aside from again having that profitable proven strategy, is traders that oversize because they're in a rush to get wealthy overnight, basically. Where the guys who are around longer term look at it differently, and they're staying very small in their size and looking for, they're looking down the horizon more. How long can I keep this account? How can I consistently take money out of this market? It's going to be trading small. Trading big, again, just leads to that snowball effect because it immediately just involves more emotions. It involves when you're supposed to take a stop loss, let's say at 5,000, and all of a sudden you have too many contracts on, and I can't accept this loss. This is a huge loss. Then you start moving stops, and then this turns to that, and that turns to that, and you find yourself in a bad situation. So I would say the guys who stick around the longest and do the best and pull the most out of the market are just trading consistently, and they're staying with a reasonable trading size. They're not throwing on 30 contracts trying to knock it out of the park every time. And something I tend to tell people a lot, actually, is like to relate it to something that everyone knows about: base hits. And when you step up to the plate and you look for those consistent base hits time and time again, you're going to find yourself in a good position. And with that, you're going to find yourself in position to hit the grand slam when it presents itself. So you're not looking for the grand slam every single play, but you're looking for the consistent base hit. And every so often you find yourself in that perfect position at the perfect time. And then you can size in responsibly and, make the best of it.
I think that's a great way to approach it, especially in terms of size. Personally, I've seen that my performance is best when I trade with a lesser size. Usually when I'm trading with 2 or 3 contracts, maybe even 4 contracts, I'm trading good. But the second I step up to 6, 7, or 8 contracts, I'm just taking bad trades, I'm rushing trades, I'm managing my trade poorly. And I also think it plays a big thing in terms of psychology, your risk tolerance, what we just talked about. If you're trading big size to make money, but you don't actually know how to tolerate big size, and you can't go through the drawdown that means big size, and you can't go through the fluctuations of seeing $5,000 turn into $2,000 and then back into $6,000 in a span of minutes, I think you shouldn't even be trading that size. But now for those traders who aren't funded yet, right, what do you think are the biggest mistakes that these guys make? The guys that are always consistently getting resets that can't get funded, what do you think are their mistakes, and how would you recommend them to fix these mistakes?
So obviously sticking to the rules is the main one, but all those rules are in place for a reason. So I would say understanding why those rules are what they are. Like, why shouldn't a guy trade FOMC releases, and why shouldn't a guy in a retail trading account trade CPI numbers as soon as they come out? And understanding like volatility and really understanding the product they're trading too. I think people tend to jump in 2 feet, which is great, but also sometimes prematurely. Like you really got to understand the mechanics of the market and what it is exactly that you're doing. And for example, let's say the trailing drawdown, why is it in place? It's in place because when you make some positive P&L, the goal is to lock up that P&L for the day and shut it down, turn the computer off, turn your charts off, whatever the case may be. And that rule's in place to kind of promote that, as well as the contract scaling plan for the same reason, to promote good trading. So I would say really understanding the rules, of course, to keep your account in good standing, but also understanding why those rules are there, because every one of those rules is handpicked when we built this prop firm, because we know exactly what a trader generally should do and shouldn't do with regards to size versus the account size, trading the news, things like that. So really kind of dig in and think about why those rules are there. They're not there to get you caught up. They're there to show you and kind of mold you a bit to what it takes to find some longevity and pull some profits out of the market.
Absolutely, man. I think that what you said is really good, understanding the why. And I just think not even in the rules in your own trading, like why do you look too long at these places? Oh, because no, but like why does this confluence tell you the market is going up? Like if you're able to actually discern the why and everything about your trading, why do you only risk this much? Oh, because that's what they told me, but why did they tell you to do this? If you can understand the why, you're going to understand the entire thought process that goes behind it. And even the profit rules, for example, why on the Express account can only make 15% of the profit target. Because if you want to get there quickly, they don't want you to be gambling like other prop firms say with a one-day pass and the full leverage, because they want to make sure, again, you guys are a prop firm that actually puts traders into good accounts, into real accounts, instead of just booking everybody until they eventually blow the account. So I think that if people understood that and people saw like, hey, these guys are actually going to give me money, they are actually scalable, they actually pay out the same day, they would actually see why they need to implement these things into their plan and these new rules. And as you said, it's just understanding the why. The 50%, so you're not a gambler, so you're consistent. Why can I trade during news? First of all, the margin requirements are just ridiculous on a retail trading account. And secondly, you're gambling most of the times unless you have really advanced data, like hedge fund trading floor level data. It's going to be really hard for traders to actually predict this, especially with intraday trading in futures. So I just think that's a great point. Now, you talked about longevity, and I know not many people talk about this out there. There's not much content on it. But where do you think this futures prop firm industry is headed in the next 5 to 6 years? There's a lot of prop firms who are denying payouts. There's a lot of prop firms who are doing really cheap discounts. So where do you think this industry is headed overall, and how do you think FFN will adapt over the next maybe 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So overall, I think we're going to see a lot of the kind of fly-by-night companies disappear, in so many words, because like you mentioned a minute ago, at FFN, we do things a certain way, and it's the correct way. We put traders in live accounts with a trusted, verified, regulated IB introducing broker who we have great relationships with. And I know there are some companies out there, again, that are able to sell their services very, very cheap. And that's because they don't necessarily follow the same process that we do. And that leads me to say the reason that all of our rules, all of our processes, everything like that is the way it is because we're essentially on the same side as the trader. Like, we want the trader to do well because, again, these are live accounts. These are cash funded sub accounts under our prop account. And when our traders make money, the company makes money. Whereas I don't want to speak about any company in particular, but we know there's some companies out there that aren't set up in that same fashion to where they're kind of trading, banking on your failure in so many words. But overall, I think the companies that are out there, such as FFN, and there are some others out there that are doing things the right way, they'll be around for the longer term. And the ones who are kind of unfortunately taking advantage of traders, and it seems like preying on newer traders and kind of promoting the gambling and promoting the get rich quick stuff and trade 80 contracts in a small account type behavior. I don't think they're going to be around for the long term. So I think eventually they'll be weeded out, and the good companies like FFN and a few others out there will be around to stay.
Great, man. What you said, I think it's really good that companies are doing it the right way. Maybe right now, again, it's not the same amount of clients, it's not the same amount of hype, the same amount of growth around the prop firm. But I'm really curious to see 3 years down the line, those prop firms that have the huge hype, that have everything, that are just booking traders with cheap prices. I think there's going to be a point where it's not going to be sustainable. I know it happened in the Forex industry. The Forex industry, of course, has been operating this way for a long time. And I was a victim of it, right? Like, I was denied over $40,000 in payouts because they were not liquid anymore. These firms, they do the cheap prices, they're paying out, booking everybody. And there comes a point where, unless they're getting massive amounts of liquidity injected, these companies are simply not able to sustain with it. Maybe the first year, 2 year, couple of years, it's working. But again, as you said, long term, if the company's not making money with the traders, and there's such a clash in the conflict of interest, there's going to be a point where this clash that's happening is simply going to cause the company to implode within itself. And I think, again, that's something why I love FFN the most. It's just because you guys are aligning with the traders. You create us the best conditions. As you said, you've partnered with a broker, and I've had issues on my end with my computer where the broker gets my computer gets frozen or whatnot. And within 30 seconds of talking to your support, the positions are frozen. They're out. I'm flattened. I don't have to worry about that. Whereas in other prop firms, like if that happened, I would wait 4 days only to be told you're bad, you suck.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
I think is great with
absolutely.
that. And just again, and those having those connections with brokers. I know you guys also have your in-house platform, Fundex. I don't know if you want to talk a bit about it and what advantages it provides to traders.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have two in-house platforms. One is Edge Pro X, which is a platform that belongs to our brokerage partner, actually, and it's super robust. It's got all the order flow tools, if guys are into that. It's got all the basics and all the stuff that's advanced. So good to fit any trader, really. Market profile guys, volume profile, tick charts, all that good stuff. And then additionally, we have our platform, which is called Fundex. That is a really also robust platform. It's got crazy capabilities, back testing engines, and you can code up bots to trade certain ways. You know, if X happens, do this. If XYZ happens, do this. And it's pretty simple to put together. So there's a lot of different cool options in the platform itself. Again, it's got all the capabilities: market profile, footprint, tick charts, you name it. Pretty much anything you could think of, the platform is capable of. And in addition to that, it's got a built-in copy trader that we don't charge extra for to access. So if you have multiple evaluation accounts, exhibition accounts, funded accounts for that matter, you can execute across those different accounts how you choose using the copy trader that's built into the platform.
I think that's great, man. Honestly, a platform that provides so much because I currently trade with several prop firms, but I've seen that in terms of platform and ease to use a platform, there's nothing like Edge Pro. I don't use Fundex. I want to hop onto Fundex. I'm probably going to do that soon just because of the extra features, like you said, the copy trader between fundeds and evaluations and all that. But I just think that, again, having both these platforms is great, especially when other prop firms, they don't offer platforms that can do more than just buy sell limits. I know there's that.
Yeah.
Again, that's as cheap as it gets, and then you got to pay for the copy trader, and then if you want to put an expert advisor, you got to pay for it, and then if you want to backtest, you got to do a different software, and then if you want to copy trade, you got to make sure that everything is set up differently, and then you can trade properly, and then there's delays. So I just think it's great that you guys host it all in one platform. So again, providing
If
all
I
the
can
traders.
just add one, sorry, if I can
Yeah.
just add one thing to that real quick too. Something that FFN offers that we haven't seen elsewhere, and that's really been a big hit for the traders coming on board, is onboarding calls. So we have either myself or my partner or one of the really good guys who works for FFN that knows these platforms inside and out. They'll get on a Zoom call with you when you sign up for your account to get you set up for success. You can literally ask, okay, I want a footprint chart here, I want market profile over here, and I want price ladder over here, whatever the case may be. And they'll get you set up just like that and show you where everything is, show you how to operate the platform. And that's a quick, 30-minute call on Zoom that really makes a big difference and gets guys put in a place where they're set up for success versus misclicking into trades and making, silly mistakes that's going to cost them their account.
Yeah, I think that's actually where I was going. And now that you made that clear, I want to ask you, do you see any difference between the traders that do the onboarding calls and do the risk management calls? Because I know once you get funded, you guys offer a free risk management call, which I think is great. It helped my trading a lot, actually. Do you see a difference between the traders who hop onto these calls compared to the traders who are just like, nah, I think I know everything. Let me just go ahead and keep trading without doing the calls?
Yeah, absolutely. I can say with confidence that probably 85% of the traders that make simple mistakes like not knowing when there was high impact news or not knowing Jerome Powell had a speech or what have you, it's because they don't take the 10, 15 minutes to jump on that risk manager call, like you said, that we have with guys when they're getting into the funded account. And it's as simple as that. The risk management call basically is just a touch base, make sure a guy really understands everything that he needs to understand, and also to put ourselves out there to, hey, if you need to give us a call, if you want a second set of eyes on the trade setup, or you have, doubts on your strategy, maybe you want some feedback or something, anything like that, we're here for that as well. But really, the guys who make the simple mistakes, like too many contracts, trading through news, like very, very basic stuff, we don't have a lot of stipulations in place. So the guys who break those stipulations, unfortunately, tend to be the guys who don't take the few minutes to just get on that call and touch base. And kind of like you mentioned, a guy passes an evaluation and all of a sudden kind of gets a little heavy on the ego and thinks they got it locked up and everything's in the bag, and this trader knows everything all of a sudden. And unfortunately, they don't take advantage of that risk manager call, and that's what it's there for. It's there to help you. Everything that we offer is really there to assist the trader, because again, when our traders do well, we do well. So of course we want to put our traders in the best position.